Hi, second graders, it's Mrs. Clark. Today in math, we are going to use a number grid and we are going to find some patterns in the number grid and we are going to make some number patterns with our number grid. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take myself away so that you can see me a little bit better. For this lesson, I would like you to go ahead and find your whiteboard and your marker and get ready to write. All right, boys and girls, I have circled 3 numbers in purple ink on my computer. Those numbers are 34, 36, and 38. I want you to write these numbers on your whiteboard. 34, 36, 38. Can you write the next 3 numbers in the pattern? Let's see if you guys can get it. So far, the pattern looks like I circled a number and then I skipped a number. I circled a number and then I skipped a number. If I were counting this out loud, I would say 34, 36, 38. Now you go ahead and write down the next 3 numbers in the number pattern. Great job! You should have written 40, 42, and 44. All right, boys and girls, I have circled some new numbers with a pink marker. My numbers now say 83, 85, 87, 89, 91. Do you see a pattern? I want you to write down the next 3 numbers on your whiteboard. If you wrote down 93, 95, and 97, you are correct. Are you noticing another pattern? It's the same pattern as up here, except this time we are using odd numbers. The numbers that I circled in purple are all even numbers. So you can count by 2s using even numbers, and you can count by 2s also using odd numbers. As long as you skip a number in between, you are counting by 2s. If you skip a number in between, you are counting by 2s. Here is a challenge for some of you that would really enjoy a challenge. What are the next 3 numbers after these? 234, 236, 238. What would the next 3 numbers be? Go ahead and take the time to write the next 3 numbers on your whiteboard. All right, if you said 240, 242, 244, then you would be correct. Great work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. And I want to look at some other things that we can find on the number grid. I want you to notice a couple of things. So every other number across in the grid is odd. So these are odd numbers. 1s, 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s. The other numbers are even numbers. 2s, 4s, 6s, 8s, and 0s. Every number in the far right column ends in a 0. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. The grid starts at -9 and ends at 110. Your grid might end at a different number. It might end at 120. The number grid is kind of like a number line that we've been talking about, but it's like it's cut apart and it's stacked on top of each other. So a number grid is a type of number line. So in any given column, all of the numbers have the same digit in the ones place. So all of these numbers have a 1 in the ones place. All of these numbers have a 4 in the ones place. All of these numbers have an 8 in the ones place. In any given row, which goes this way, all of the numbers in the row have the same tens number. So the number in the tens place is the same. These numbers have a 4 in the tens place. These numbers have an 8 in the tens place. So number grids can help us in a lot of ways. We can also use number grids not to only count by 2s, but we can use it to count by 5s or 10s or 3s or 4s. We can use the number grid in lots of ways. Let me show you a counting by 5s pattern. I have taken the time to circle numbers that count by 5s. One thing I want you to notice is that I start with the number 5, and there are 5 hops to get to the next number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It took me 5 hops to get to the next number. These numbers are counting by 5s. If there are 5 spaces or hops between the numbers, then you are counting by 5s. Also, look at the pattern that I made. When I count by 5s, all of the numbers are in 2 columns. So all of these numbers have a 5 in the ones place. All of these numbers have a 0 in the ones place. Let me show you a different example of counting by 5. Boys and girls, you're going to notice that some of my numbers on my number grid have changed. I still counted by 5s, but I started at a different number than 5. I started counting with the number 2, and I hopped 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still counting by 5, but now my numbers are different. So when I count by 5s, I can start at any number. As long as I have 5 spaces in between each number, that is counting by 5. Okay, now your job is to look at your number grid in the very back cover of your math journal. I would like you to practice counting by 2s, counting by 5s, and counting by 10s. You did a great job listening today. Good work. See you soon.